In just 43 seconds, 84 to 7 classified documents. Kash Patel didn't expect this question. He didn't prepare for Kennedy's precision. Cameras captured every blink. The Senate chamber held its breath. What did Kennedy reveal that made the most powerful FBI director in America admit to the biggest cover-up in federal history? The morning fog still clung to the Capitol dome as black SUVs delivered America's most powerful law enforcement official to his political execution. Patel had awakened confident this would be routine. His briefing mentioned budget questions, personnel issues. Nothing about Epstein, nothing about sealed files. At exactly 2:17 p.m. on March 15th, the Senate Judiciary Committee chamber buzzed with tension. Senator John Kennedy sat like a prosecutor who had been waiting decades for this moment. His weathered hands folded over a manila folder marked classified in red ink. Inside lay the ammunition that would destroy Patel's career. Kennedy had spent months preparing. A whistleblower from the FBI's Evidence Management Unit had contacted his office in December. The senator's staff had spent 89 days verifying every document number, every classification code. Kennedy's Louisiana drawl cut through the formalities. Director Patel, before we discuss budget allocations, I have one simple question about transparency. Patel's hands adjusted his tie. Confident. Of course, Senator. The FBI operates with complete transparency. Under my leadership, we've implemented new disclosure protocols and strengthened our relationship with Congress. Do you? 2 words. The chamber temperature seemed to drop. Committee members on both sides of the aisle looked up from their phones. Something in Kennedy's tone signaled this wasn't routine anymore. Kennedy leaned forward, his reading glasses catching the light. Behind him, staff members exchanged glances. Something was different about today's session. The senator's usual pile of colorful analogies and folksy questions had been replaced by laser focus. Director Patel, how many Epstein-related documents does the FBI currently possess? Patel's response came too fast. Senator, I'd need to review those numbers with my evidence management team. The Epstein investigation generated substantial documentation across multiple field offices, and without specific parameters, his words tumbled out in a rushed cadence that experienced interrogators would recognize as deflection under pressure. Beads of perspiration formed at his hairline, despite the chamber's aggressive air conditioning. 847. Kennedy's voice cut clean through Patel's deflection with the precision of a scalpel. That's the exact number, isn't it? The room froze. Even the court reporter's fingers paused above her keyboard. Committee Chairman Senator Dick Durbin leaned forward in his chair, suddenly aware that his routine hearing had transformed into something historic. Ranking Member Senator Lindsey Graham set down his coffee cup with unusual care. The press gallery erupted in whispered conversations as reporters sensed blood in the water. Patel's face drained of color. His knuckles gripped the witness table, white against the dark wood. Senator, I'm not sure where you're getting these specific numbers. Our documentation systems require security clearance to access, and I can't confirm or deny from your own classified database. October 2024 internal audit conducted by FBI Evidence Management Unit Supervisor Sarah Chen. Document reference EV 2024-10-15 EPST. Audit. Ring any bells? The specificity hit like a sledgehammer. Patel's legal advisor David Morrison leaned in frantically, but the damage was already spreading like poison through Patel's nervous system. Those document numbers were classified at the highest level. Only 12 people in the FBI had access to that audit. Someone had betrayed him. In the press gallery, reporters frantically typed updates. This wasn't political grandstanding. This was a prosecutor presenting evidence to a jury of millions watching on C-SPAN. 43 seconds of silence. The silence stretched like a rubber band about to snap. In those 43 seconds, Patel's political future evaporated. Kennedy had eliminated every escape route with surgical precision. Patel's breathing became visible, his chest rising and falling under the harsh committee room lighting. Cameras zoomed in on his face, sweat beading at his temples. Despite the air conditioning, his left hand started tapping against his leg, a nervous tick that betrayed his crumbling composure. Body language experts watching live would later describe this as the moment a man realizes his career is over. Senator Kennedy, if you have access to classified materials that were obtained through unauthorized channels, that's a serious breach. I have access to the truth. Kennedy's voice remained steady, surgical, and the truth is that you've been sitting on 84E7 documents related to Jeffrey Epstein for 8 months. Documents that could solve cases. Documents that could bring justice to victims. Documents that you've personally classified as indefinitely sealed under executive order. Patel's legal advisor whispered frantically in his ear. Too late. The senator from Louisiana had just cited the specific executive order governing classification. This wasn't a fishing expedition. This was a precision strike. The American people deserve to know, are you protecting the FBI's reputation, or are you protecting the names in those files? Around the chamber, senators from both parties sat in stunned silence. This wasn't partisan theater anymore. This was accountability in real time. Democratic senators who had planned to softball Patel through the hearing suddenly saw blood in the water. Republican senators who had expected to defend the FBI director realized they might be defending a cover-up. Committee member Senator Josh Hawley scribbled notes furiously. Senator Amy Klobuchar leaned back in her chair, processing the implications. Even Senator Ted Cruz, never one to miss an opportunity for grandstanding, sat quietly, calculating the political ramifications. Patel's voice cracked. Senator, the complexity of these investigations requires careful coordination with the Department of Justice. We can't simply release sensitive materials without proper review procedures. The victim's privacy, ongoing investigations, national security implications. Yes or no, Director, are you hiding those documents? The chamber held its breath. C-SPAN cameras captured every micro-expression. C-SPAN 2 cut away from House proceedings to focus on the exchange. In newsrooms across America, assignment editors began mobilizing their investigative teams. In that moment, the weight of Kennedy's question, the pressure of live television, and the burden of 8 months of secrecy converged on Patel's shoulders. His political calculation collapsed: lie under oath and risk perjury charges, tell the truth, and confirm the cover-up. The documents exist, his voice barely above a whisper. And yes, they remain sealed pending comprehensive review. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Kennedy leaned back in his chair, satisfied. Committee members looked at each other with a mixture of shock and recognition. This was the moment that would define Patel's tenure. So you admit it. The FBI, under your direction, is actively concealing 84T7 documents that could provide justice for trafficking victims. It's not concealment. It's standard classification protocol for sensitive. It's exactly concealment. Kennedy's Louisiana accent sharpened. And every day those files stay locked, more victims wait for justice, while you protect whoever's named in them. The exchange was already going viral. And 8047 documents began trending on Twitter within 3 minutes. Fox broke into regular programming. CNN activated its breaking news banner. MSNBC brought in legal analysts to explain the implications. Twitter exploded within minutes. The hashtags multiplied. And 84/7 documents, Patel cover-up, Epstein files, Kennedy exposed. Cable news cut into regular programming. The hearing that was supposed to be about FBI budget allocations had become a confession, a federal cover-up broadcast live to millions of Americans. Patel tried to recover. "Senator, these decisions aren't made lightly. The sensitive nature of these investigations requires coordination with multiple agencies. We're working with the Department of Justice, victim advocacy groups, and congressional oversight to develop appropriate release protocols that balance transparency with protection of ongoing investigations and victim privacy." Sensitive to whom? The victims or the perpetrators? The question hung in the air like smoke. Patel's career, built on promises of transparency and justice, crumbled in real time. His hands trembled as he reached for his water glass. The confident FBI director who had entered the chamber 2 hours earlier had been replaced by a man desperately trying to control a narrative that had already escaped him. In the press gallery, veteran reporters recognized the moment. This wasn't just another contentious hearing. This was a career-ending exchange that would be replayed for years. Phones buzzed with urgent messages from editors demanding immediate analysis. "Director Patel, I'm going to ask you one final question." Kennedy's voice carried the weight of moral authority. "Will you commit today, on the record, to releasing those AT-47 documents within?" Patel looked to his advisors. They offered nothing but concerned faces. David Morrison shook his head slightly. Deputy Director Sarah Williams stared at the table. The political calculation was impossible. Release the files and risk exposing powerful figures who might still have influence. Refuse and confirm the cover-up allegations on live television. I cannot make that commitment without proper review protocols and coordination with the Department of Justice. The release of classified materials requires. Kennedy nodded slowly. "Then you've just confirmed what every American suspected. The FBI under Kash Patel protects the powerful, not the victims." Within seconds, the clip exploded across every platform. The 43-second exchange became the most viral, rhetorical moment of 2025. Twitter exploded with "Own 8047 documents trending in 47 countries." Cable news networks immediately recognized the significance. Fox News called it the most devastating congressional exchange since Watergate. CNN described Kennedy's questioning as surgical precision. Even MSNBC praised Kennedy's relentless pursuit of accountability. By 6 p.m., Kennedy's questioning had generated 8.7 million views. Legal experts debated whether Patel's admission constituted obstruction. Harvard law professor Lawrence Tribe tweeted, "This is what accountability looks like." Within 72 hours, 3 more FBI whistleblowers contacted congressional offices. They revealed that Patel had personally ordered the indefinite seal classification on documents that previous leadership had planned to release. Former FBI Director Christopher Wray, who Patel had replaced, broke his silence in an interview with CNN. "The American people deserve transparency," Wray said carefully. "The FBI's credibility depends on our willingness to be held accountable, not on our ability to avoid difficult questions." The 8047 documents reportedly included financial records, flight logs, and witness statements that could implicate high-profile figures. The decision to keep them sealed had been made by political appointees concerned about potential fallout. Within a week, Patel's approval among FBI agents plummeted to 23%. The FBI agents, Azation, issued a statement calling for renewed commitment to transparency, code for a vote of no confidence. Kennedy's 43-second question had forced a confession that would haunt Patel's career and reshape how the FBI handles investigations involving powerful figures. 2 weeks later, Kennedy appeared on Fox News Sunday. "Sometimes you just have to ask the right question at the right time," he said, his Louisiana drawl carrying the weight of victory. The truth has a way of coming out when you give it space to breathe. But beyond the political calculations and viral moments lay a deeper truth about power and accountability. Kennedy had demonstrated that even the most powerful officials could be held accountable with the right preparation, the right questions, and the unwavering courage to pursue truth regardless of political consequences. His 43-second exchange had become a masterclass in how democracy works when representatives actually represent the people's interest in transparency. The 8047 documents remained sealed as legal battles continued. But Patel's admission had changed the conversation permanently. No longer was this about FBI procedures or classification protocols. This was about justice delayed and truth denied. Sometimes the strongest weapon isn't a badge or subpoena, it's truth, archived and revealed at the right second. When one senator refused to accept bureaucratic deflections, he exposed not just a cover-up, but a system designed to protect the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. What happens when a leader who built power on secrecy is undone by evidence? If patriotism can't survive transparency, was it ever real? If this story shattered illusions about power and accountability, don't just watch. Like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe our channel, where silence gets broken and lies get time-stamped. Hit the bell, the next truth might be about your government. What would you do if you had evidence this explosive? Drop a comment below.